Well, hello everybody, it's Jeff Kikel once again with Entrepreneur Essentials here at T-Werx, and I want to introduce you to my friend Jamie Richards Whitney today. Jamie is a business attorney, and you're going to be very excited today because she is probably the coolest attorney I know on the planet, and just a blast to get to know, and loves working with entrepreneurs because she is one herself.
That's true.
So Jamie, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate you coming. So let's get started right away and talk a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey. So how did you get to be here at T-Werx?
Well, I started out about 10 years ago working for Judge Sparks in downtown Austin. He's a district judge for the Western District of Texas. And it took about 10 years for me to realize that I needed to be out on my own. After I worked for Judge Sparks, I went to a big law firm and did litigation work for Fulbright and Jaworski, which is now Norton Rose Fulbright. And about 10 years into it, I'd had 3 kids. I had a mom who was very ill, and I realized that big law wasn't really the life for me. So I went back to the federal court system. I tried doing that for a while, and I realized that I wanted to be out practicing. I just wanted to be out practicing in a way that was a little more true to myself and to my lifestyle and values. So I went out on my own.
Nice. And so that's been how long for you now?
It's been a year.
All right.
This
so
month is my 1-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So first year is always the toughest. So
yeah.
we're approaching our first year. So yeah, I can completely
Congratulations.
relate. So
it's a big milestone.
it is. It's huge.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the type of clients that you work with.
I work with other small businesses.
Okay.
Most of the time people find me because there's a specific thing going wrong. There's maybe a demand letter that they need to respond to, or a contract that's broken down that they need to figure out how to deal with. One of my favorite clients actually came to me because he was in the middle of a lawsuit and his attorney bailed on him.
I remember that, actually.
Yes, it was about a week and a half before he had to go to trial, so that was a little bit hectic. But the kinds of things that trouble small business owners are usually contract disputes or employment law disputes, especially wage and hour claims, or trade secrets.
Okay. Oh, fantastic.
And those are all things I can help with.
Wonderful. And you bring the big law experience, but
Exactly.
but much more personable.
Exactly.
So tell me a little bit about, what are some of the challenges that small businesses have when it comes to the law?
So I think the biggest challenge is just understanding that the law isn't meant to be a gotcha.
Okay.
I think a lot of small business owners feel like the law is nothing but red tape, it's indecipherable, it's intimidating, and for that reason, a lot of people kind of put their head in the sand and ignore it until something gets bad enough that they have to come see a lawyer. It's like going to the dentist times 10.
Yeah.
But if you understand from the beginning that the law is meant to make things more predictable, not more arbitrary, and it's meant to help you protect what you're growing rather than, yank it away from you, you get much better results. If you're intentional about your legal infrastructure the same way you are about your business plan or your marketing plan or anything else in your business, it can become just as much of a growth engine as any of these other tools.
Fantastic. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
What do you see as challenges that a lot of entrepreneurs face too? The same question, but a slightly different way. What do you see happening with entrepreneurs, specific types of things? Is it contracts or is it?
Oh, like which legal issues?
Yeah, what are the big couple legal issues that a lot of business owners run into?
Well, law for entrepreneurs is like anything else for entrepreneurs. You have to be good at toggling back and forth between the forest and the trees. because the things that you need for your business are going to be different depending on what stage your business is at.
Mm-hmm.
Just like it's not going to do you any good as somebody within the first year of their business to come to, say, an HR representative and say, I need a handbook and an infrastructure for 50 employees,
Mm-hmm.
when you only have 10 employees.
Yeah.
You may have 50 down the road, but today you have 10.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing with your legal infrastructure. While someday you may be talking to me about writing a franchise agreement for you so that you can seed your business all over the 50 states, if that's not where you are today, that's not what you need to be paying me for.
Sure.
So within the first year of a business, probably the first important things that you'll come to for legal needs are a good company agreement, even if you're on your own. You want to make sure that your company is a separate entity from you, because that gives you legal protection. And then once you've set up that entity, whether it's an LLC or a corporation or whatever, you want to have a company agreement that sets out how control of that entity is going to go, and how, if you want to bring somebody else into the entity or sell off a piece of the entity, how that's going to work. So that's your company agreement.
Okay.
And that becomes more important the more people are
It's
in
kind
the
of the
boat
rules
with
of the
you.
game.
Exactly. And the other thing you're going to want is a contract. If you're
Okay.
dealing with any kind of customer at all, you want a written agreement that sets out what you're doing for them, what they're doing for you, and sort of the basic expectations of the relationship.
Sure.
And I've heard a lot of people say, okay, I don't want to do a contract, I'm just going to do business on a handshake. But that's still a contract. It's just a contract where you don't know what you're signing until somebody complains about it down the road.
And so many times when you think one thing and the other person's thinking completely different,
Yes.
and without laying it out on paper and saying this is specifically what we meant.
Yeah, exactly. And a contract doesn't have to be, 10 pages of legalese.
No.
A contract can be 5 sentences long.
Mhm.
But getting it in writing, even if it's just a couple of emails back and forth,
Okay.
getting that offer and that acceptance and the key terms of the agreement in black and white, where everybody can go back 6 months or a year from now and sort of remind themselves of what was said and what expectations were set, is one of the best things you can do for your business.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that. So tell me what's new and exciting in your business? What's fun for you right now?
Let's see. So a lot of my customers originally came to me because, things had hit the fan in some respect. But now that we've solved their immediate problem, whatever it was, a lot of them are staying with me so that we can
Nice.
put that infrastructure in place to avoid things like that down the road. And my background is in litigation. I started out as a courtroom lawyer, and that'll always be part of what I love to do. But it's also really, really nice to feel like I'm working with my clients as part of their team to plan for the future, to make sure that the contracts are written in a way that will avoid disputes, and to make sure that their employer-employee relationships are running along smooth tracks that are going to help them avoid problems down the road.
Certainly. Well, and I mean, I think that's some of the benefit too of being a litigator first. You know all what could potentially happen, and you can
Yes.
work backwards to, okay, let's make sure this is all, we think through every step. And I know that our conversations many times, that litigator hat I can see flip on, and okay, well, this could potentially happen. So
Yes.
yeah, I mean, I find the same thing with estate planning attorneys, that estate planning attorneys that don't have experience with the probate system, they have a hard time figuring out, okay, what do we need to do?
Yes.
What should we write into this because of the potential problems we'll see down the road?
It's true. There's always a difference between what you theoretically can do, what you actually can do, and what you should do for the
Sure.
situation that you're likely to be in. And the more experience you've had sort of seeing the rubber meet the road, the easier it is to set up those factors for consideration
Sure.
and help people kind of evaluate their options.
Okay, so it's time for the Fast 5 questions now.
All right.
So first, what would you do if you woke up in the morning, you still have all the knowledge that you have today, however your business is gone, you have $500 in your pocket, a laptop computer, you have a place to live and food, what would you do first?
I think I'd start a law firm.
There you go.
Now, the nice thing about being a lawyer is that you can do it from anywhere, and it's a permanent ticket to make your own way,
Sure.
because people will always need help figuring out how to address the situations that come up.
Would you go back to doing what you're doing, working with small business again?
I would. I love
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
As long as I could be a lawyer, I would be a lawyer.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. What was the biggest entrepreneurial mistake you've ever made?
I've bought a lot of things that I didn't need to buy.
Sure.
And it comes from that whole forest or trees, the difficulty between seeing what you need now versus what you're going to plan to need down the road.
Absolutely.
So, I've invested in branding, I've invested in legal research subscription tools, lots of things that probably will be useful in the long run,
Sure.
but that I absolutely have not needed in the last 12 months and probably won't need in the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. And some of that comes from coming out of a big law firm where you have that crutch of, hey, it's an unlimited budget and
Exactly.
I need this. Well, no, you don't really need it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we found that too. I find that all the time. I've learned to get cheaper.
Yes.
As I've gotten older, I've gotten cheaper in my business. And, okay, buy it when I need it, just in
Less is
time
more.
versus than having it all perfect up front, and then you might find that it's not worth it. So
Exactly.
okay, so what is a book that you might recommend, and really on any subject?
On any subject. Okay. Let's see. My favorite entrepreneurial book is a book by, I think her name is Tara Moore.
Okay.
And it's called Playing Big.
Okay.
And I've really enjoyed that. But actually, my sort of free time reading is all science fiction and fantasy and
Nice.
things like that. And I just finished a fabulous book called The Passage
Okay.
that is like post-apocalyptic rebuilding America type fiction.
Nice.
So it's fun.
I like that. Well, but you have to have those too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Escape is good.
Escapism is a good thing. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So do you have a tool that you would recommend that you use on a daily basis, maybe like an Evernote or something along those lines?
Yes. Everything in my life goes through my Google Calendar.
Okay.
If it didn't show up on my Google Calendar, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yep, and it's free.
And it's free.
Which
That's
is
right.
even
Less
better.
is more.
Less is more. It's perfect. So, Jamie, how do we get in contact with you? So, if somebody has a question for you or wants to reach out to you, how would they get a hold of you?
Sure. I hope you do. You can go to my website, which is www.richardswhitneylaw.com, and there's a scheduling link on the website where you can go, right there and pencil yourself in and come meet me up here at T-Werx.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you very much for your time today.
Of course.
I appreciate it as always. And once again, folks, glad to have you guys out here today to listen to folks like Jamie. I mean, I will tell you, she is one of the smartest attorneys I've ever met, yet is fun, and it's fun to be around her. So it's always very enjoyable to talk to her. So once again, we will see you next week. Look for us on YouTube. Make sure right down below this that you sign up. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.